Welcome, namaste. Tonight is part two of the Foundations of Hatha practice series. So, tonight we're going to be again exploring sun salutations, some standing postures, and we're also going to be exploring coordinating the movement with our breath or starting to really come from the breath and move from within the breath, if that sounds very poetic and a little bit woo-woo. But the main thing that I wanted to introduce tonight was the concept of moving with your breath in a manner that you breathe deeply, and that's the anchor and the foundation of your practice. So if you're feeling restriction in your breath, you can ease off a little bit. If you feel like my breaths are not in alignment with your breaths, you take your time and move at a pace that feels good for you. And I think that's where you really start to establish your own practice and really find the value and beauty of your own personal practice because it's completely unique to you and your rhythm. And I think that's what makes our Hatha practice so special as well. So, and it's a really wonderful mindfulness practice too. So it really helps to gently anchor the mind in a sattvic way and helps with pranic coordination and rejuvenation in the body. So permission to slow down and tune into your breath. And while we go into our breathing practice, before we get into the movement, I want to invite you into that focus that instead of just breathing in and out like we can do naturally, is to just really feel the breath, feel the inhalation naturally kind of arise, and feel the exhalation really just gently release from your body. And notice how your body naturally lengthens and expands on the inhalation and naturally softens and contracts on the exhalation. And that's really what informs our movement in our practice as well. So as we inhale, we can naturally go into a lengthening position. You might lengthen and forward fold, or you might lengthen open into a back bend. And as we exhale, you might hold the pose, but you're allowed to relax your effort a little. Not allowed, that's not the best word, but you can soften a little. And then inhale, and you feel that fullness and expansion again. So you've got this constant breathing of your body throughout your whole practice. And it's really special to tap into that. And the more you start to cultivate awareness of that, the more that helps to guide your movement throughout your practice. So you feel like you're basically riding your breath throughout the practice. And you don't need to be going into deep breaths. Sometimes that can trigger hyperventilation or feeling like a little bit stressed or strained. So just beautiful deep breaths, just connecting with your breath, riding the breath with each movement. We'll start with some cat cows as well, and that will be a nice place that we can start to coordinate the movement with the breath. Okay, so let's begin sitting comfortably. Nice tall spine reaching into the crown of your head. Dropping your shoulders down away from your ears, hands resting on your lap, and letting your hips and legs soften toward the earth beneath you. Noticing the sounds around you. Noticing the feeling of the air on your skin and your clothes resting on your body. And then bringing your awareness to your breath without changing your breath at this point. Just following its journey in through your nose, down your throat, and into your lungs. And following it back out again. Just continue breathing naturally. And as you arrive at this awareness of your breath and just stopping and pausing after maybe a busy day, you might feel like you need to do a few little sighs or catch your breath a little or just breathe out a sink to kind of settle in a bit. And that's completely welcomed and helpful to help you get into a nice relaxed rhythm. And if you haven't already, closing your eyes, we'll drop into some focused breathing now. So inhaling for the count of 4 and exhaling for the count of 4. So dropping into that awareness that I just spoke of inhaling deeply, inhaling fully, and feeling everything expand and gently lift. And as you exhale, feeling everything naturally soften and surrender. Still keeping the spine lifted. And to increase our awareness of this coordination with movement and breath, we'll bring our hands together in prayer in front of our heart center. And on your inhalation, reaching the arms up, inhaling. And when you're ready to exhale, release the arms, floating them down, soft through the elbows and palms, and bringing the palms together again. Moving with your breath, inhaling up, lifting through the spine, exhale, open and release. The shoulders soften, the chest softens, palms come together. And doing that a few more times. One last cycle. And bringing your hands to your lap. With that nice drawn out breath, we'll move into 5 rounds of Goranga breathing. So exhaling completely and silently for the first time, we inhale, bring the sound Goranga into our mind. Exhaling, saying the sound silently in your mind for the entire length of your exhalation. Goranga. And now we'll do it out loud, inhaling the sound into your mind. Exhale, say the sound out loud. Goranga. Continue on, inhale. Goranga. Inhale. Goranga. Inhale. Goranga. One last time. Goranga. And come back to your regular breathing pattern, allowing the mantra to resonate through your mind and heart. Slowly opening your eyes and coming over onto all fours. Bringing your hips above your knees and your shoulders above your wrists, spreading your fingers and thumbs nice and wide, pressing down into your palms and press down into your shins. Inhaling, we'll drop the belly, tilting the pelvis forward, looking forward. Exhaling, we'll draw the chin, tuck the tailbone, and lift through the belly, pressing the floor away. So now going in your own breath rate, inhaling, arching your back. Exhaling, rounding through your spine. So allowing the breath to guide the movement. When you really get into it, you can almost lose sense of time as you just rhythmically move with your breath back and forth. We'll do one more time each way. Inhale, look forward. Exhale, looking toward the navel. And come back to center. Very nice. Lifting yourself up into a warm up downward dog. So press down into your palms and draw your hips up and back, bending through your knees to begin. You can draw your belly and your chest toward your thighs and then begin to lift and lower your heels, alternating from side to side. Keep pressing the palms into the floor, feeling the backs of your legs stretching. Good. And raise both heels high, lifting into your hips, pressing the floor away with your palms. Exhale, slowly lowering your hips toward the floor, allowing them to land wherever they do. If they come to the floor, just anchoring them down into the mat. Take a breath here. Exhale completely, and then walk your feet forward to meet your hands. And we'll slowly roll up, coming to stand at the top of the mat. Getting ready for 3 rounds of sun salutations. We'll do the first one a little slower, and I'll show you some modifications. And then the next two, we'll try and coordinate with our breath and flow in a more dynamic manner. All right. Bring the hands together in prayer position. Then inhale, reaching the arms up. Palms come together. Exhale, bending through your knees as you fold forward, long spine, hands come to the floor, hanging your head. Inhale, sliding your hands up your shins, straightening through the legs, looking forward. Exhale, folding forward, bending through the knees, palms to the floor as you step back, coming to a plank position. Exhale, lower down. Inhale, coming into cobra, or lifting the hips, coming onto the tops of the feet into upward dog. Bending the knees, tucking the toes, or lifting straight back into downward dog. Coming back into downward dog to hold for 3 breaths. Just checking that your fingers and thumbs are spread nice and wide. Lifting into the hips, drawing down into the heels. Exhaling completely, looking between your hands and stepping your feet forward. Inhale, hands sliding up the shins, flat back. Exhale, folding forward, soft through the knees. And inhale, come all the way up. Exhale, arms by your sides. All right, so you can take those same modifications if you like, bending your knees throughout. Or let's go. Inhale, reaching up. Exhale, folding forward, hinging from the hips. Inhale, fingertips to the floor, looking forward. Exhale, hands to the floor, jump or step back into plank. And lower down. Inhale, cobra or upward dog. Exhale, lift back into downward dog, holding here for 3 breaths. Settling into your breathing pattern. Noticing that gentle expansion and gentle contraction as you inhale and exhale. One more breath. Exhale completely and jump or step your feet forward. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, fold. Inhale, come all the way up. Palms come together. Exhale, release your arms by your sides. Take a breath. And let's do one final round. Inhaling as you reach up. Exhale, folding forward. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, fold. Hands to the floor, jump or step back. Plank and lower down. Inhale, arching your back. Exhale, lift back into downward dog. You might notice that your body feels a little warmer already. You might be able to drop your heels down a little further or just feeling a little bit more comfortable and open in the pose. One more breath here. Exhale completely, looking between your hands and jump or step your feet forward. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, fold. Inhale, come all the way up. Exhale, arms down by your sides. Take a breath. Beautiful. Very nice way to warm up our tissues, mobilize all of our joints. So we're going to come into some standing forward folds now. I'm going to demonstrate using my belt. We'll also can use blocks as an option as well. So you can stand anywhere on your mat. You can stay at the top of your mat if you like. With your feet placed under your hips, grounding down through your feet, lifting through your torso, take your hands to your hips. And if you feel like you have any tightness through your lower back or your hamstrings, bring a soft bend into your knees as you fold forward. So as we go into a full standing forward fold, you can still get quite a good stretch through the hamstrings with your knees bent. So if you bend them completely, you might switch off that stretch. But if you go into the forward fold with your knees bent, and then you start to lift the hips and kind of find your edge where you start to feel your hamstrings tighten. You'll be able to find a comfortable stretch where you're still working on your hamstring flexibility without completely losing the pose or overstretching. So starting with soft knees and then hooking first two fingers around the big toes. And for this warm up for standing forward fold, we're going to go through lengthening and softly bending. So we'll do that 5 times. So only go as straight as feels comfortable for you. And you can take your torso forward, letting your head hang heavy. And we'll do one more. Good. And bend through the knees, hands to the hips. Come all the way up. Now going into full standing forward fold. Option here to take either blocks under your hands to fold forward, or like so. And then you have a point of contact where you can press down into the floor and get a nice bit of feedback there. The other option is to take the belt around the soles of your feet and still standing with your feet under your hips, but you can lift and fold, walking your hands down the belt, and then you can draw against the belt to help you move deeper into the fold. So that's fantastic if you can't take your hands or your fingertips around your big toes. And you might like to also play with just blocks like so. The full version is to take your first 2 fingers and wrap them around your big toes. And from here, gently drawing in through your belly, and that creates a nice little bit of space. Also really good for Vata balancing. And start drawing against your belt or your big toes, folding in, and then tuning into your breath. So as you inhale, lengthening, and as you exhale, softening and maybe drawing in just a little closer to your legs. We'll stay here for about another 3 breaths. Getting a nice inversion here while we stretch through the back of our body. One more breath. And release the belt or your fingers, taking your hands to your hips, maybe a soft bend through the knees, and with a long spine, hinging all the way back up to standing. And then release your hands by your sides and just take a moment here to let everything balance out. Coming back to your breath. Okay, shake out your legs a little. And we'll use the belt again. If you don't have a belt, you can use a silk scarf or a tie. So we're now going to go into standing big toe pose. So the idea of the pose is feet underneath the hips, and we extend our leg out with our first two fingers around the big toe, and you're going to reach the leg forward. So you get this nice kind of feedback with your fingers and arm and your shoulder drawing it back against your foot, and then your heel is pressing away while you're balancing on one leg. So this pose has got everything. It's strengthening, it's really good for coordination, it requires a lot of flexibility. So there's a lot going on there, and it can be helpful to rather than just try and make the shape straight away. You could stand against a wall or even with your back against the wall. And I would also recommend using a belt so you can get a feel for the pose. So if you would like, you can stand with your back against the wall, and that way you can prop yourself up as you get a feel for what it feels like to actually coordinate the entire pose. Okay, so wherever you are, let's begin, either at the wall or standing freely on your mat. I'm going to start with the belt, and then I will remove the belt and go straight to toe. So just make sure that you're feeling nice and grounded through your feet, shifting your weight over to standing on your left foot, and bring your right knee up, and we'll take the belt around the sole of our foot. Extending the leg out as you draw back against the belt. So you should have a little bit of control here with your arms, as well as pressing the foot away so that you've got this nice tension. And you can go both hands, or you can hold the belt in one hand. With the belt in one hand, you'd have your left hand to your hip and raise the leg up and hold. Shoulders down away from your ears, standing nice and strong, reaching through the crown of your head. So I'm going to remove the belt. Couple more breaths here. And release. Take a breath. Getting ready to transition to the other side. Both feet starting underneath your hips, shifting your weight to your right leg. And a micro bend in balancing poses is the best secret to creating a little extra stability for yourself. So when your leg is really kind of taut, it makes it easier to topple over. Whereas if you have a bent knee, it's almost like a little spring, your own little suspension system. So it's another nice way to modify and build up into the pose. All right, weight shifted to the right leg, lifting the left knee, either belt around the foot or fingers around the big toe, finding a point in front of you to gaze at, right hand to the right hip, and really strong through your belly. So the more you're strong through the belly, the more you can stabilize in the pose. And drawing the thigh bone into the hip joint, pressing the heel away as you extend the leg out, drawing back against your toe. Breathing naturally. And release. Both feet to the floor, arms by your sides. Give your legs a little shake. Very nice. One more balancing posture. Eagle pose. standing with your feet hip distance apart and threading your right leg over your left. Starting with toes on the floor, and this is a really nice modification, so you might just start here, sinking down into the hips and taking the left arm out and the right arm over the top, intertwining the arms. If you feel like you can go further, you can wrap the big toe of the right foot around the left ankle or calf, and then slowly sink down into your hips and start to send your forearms up until you feel a nice, stable, broadening, and gentle stretch through your shoulders. Navel drawing in slightly. One more breath here. And we're going to unravel. Release our legs and arms out to the side like the wings of an eagle. Garuda pose, eagle pose. Shake out your legs and let's switch to the other side. Balancing on your right leg, bending through the right knee, taking the left toes over. So settle into the leg stance first and then taking the right arm under and the left arm over the top. Coming into position, binding the arms, and if you can go further, wrapping that big toe around the left ankle, right ankle. My brain gets confused when everything's all intertwined. Staying here and breathing. Coming out to rest anytime you need to. And release. Oop. Take out your legs. Give your feet a little stretch. Okay. You can set your belt aside now, but you might like to have a block handy for side angle pose. Stepping your feet out wide. And turn the right toes out. Your left toes are in slightly, but if you feel tightness in the hips, just broaden your, not broaden your stance, open your back toes out slightly. So the more you have those big toes in, the more you'll feel it in your hip. But sometimes a slight little adjustment, opening up the back foot, can make the whole pose feel a lot more accessible. So you're going to bend through the right knee, bringing it over the ankle, going into a modified version first. Bring the forearm to rest on top of the right thigh. Opening up through the top shoulder. And if this feels like it's far enough for you, staying here. Further still, circling the right arm up and making this beautiful side angle with your body. And if you feel you can drop your lower hand, you can take it to a block on the outside of your right foot, or hand all the way to the floor. And see if you can lift through your torso so we're not collapsing down into our hips, staying nice and buoyant through the upper body, opening up, lengthening from your left heel up through the leg, the hip, the spine, all the way up the arm into the fingertips. Finding your breath. One more breath here. And reaching up with the top hand, pressing down into the front foot, drawing in through your navel and lifting up. Turning the left toes in and the right toes out. Right toes in, left toes out. Okay, coming forward into your forearm first. And sweeping the top arm down and up to come and rest just by your ear. And we'll turn our gaze up And further still, lowering your left hand to a block or to the floor. Staying here for another few breaths. One final breath here. And inhale. Pressing down into your feet, lifting all the way up. Turning both toes forward. Heel toe your feet together. Relax. Take a deep breath. Excellent. All right, we'll step the feet wide again. We're going to combine Warrior One and Warrior Two. And then shortly after, we'll be making our way down to the floor. So again, turning your right toes out, bringing your left foot to a 45-degree angle. And here you can drop down into your front knee, but again, if it feels tight through the hips, just have a look at your alignment and take your feet out a bit wider, kind of based on your own personal hip structure as to what feels comfortable for you. So feet are hip distance apart, sinking down into that front thigh, stacking the knee above the ankle. And inhale, raising the arms up. Seeing if you can drop just a little deeper into your front thigh. And keeping your center of gravity so that your hips are right stacked in between your legs. So you feel this equal kind of dimension of your weight distribution going forward and back. And your torso sits quite effortlessly right in the middle. And then you can lengthen into your spine and lift your rib cage right up out of your hips, out of your waistline. And then from here, without too much of a transition, like just going to open out to the side, edging that front foot across slightly, bringing the heel aligned with the middle of the back foot, and opening the arms out to shoulder height, turning to look over the right fingertips. Good, feeling that heat arising in the body, rising through the legs, staying nice and cool through the head, the face. Exhale, lowering the arms and straighten the right leg, turning your right toes in. Take a breath. Turning the left toes out and the right toes in slightly, and just centering your feet so that they're hip distance apart. Bending through the front leg, stacking the knee above the ankle. And try to lift through that back knee. So you're really pressing down into your back heel and lifting through the back arch, keeping that leg nice and active. Floating the arms up and reaching into the fingertips. And sinking down into the front leg. Moving with your breath. Inhale, lengthen up. Exhale, opening out into Warrior Two. Stepping that front foot across slightly to bring the front heel in alignment with the middle of the back foot. And you'll feel that back toe, the back foot slightly opens naturally, bringing your arms out to shoulder height. Turning to look just beyond the left fingertips. Strong through the legs. Awareness of your breath. One more breath here. And release the arms. Inhale. Straighten through the front leg. Turn the toes in. Heel toe the feet back together. Give your legs a little shake. Okay. Mhm. Taking your heels underneath your hips, toes turned out slightly. And we're going to carefully lower down into garland pose. So dropping into a deep squat where you're lowering your hips down and bringing your elbows to rest on the insides of your knees. That's it. And if that feels like it might be a little too tight, you can bring your bolster under your heels or a folded blanket underneath your heels. And press your palms together and also press your elbows into the insides of your knees. And you've also got your two thumbs here that you can press into your sternum. And lift into the crown of your head, but get nice and heavy through your hips. So you've got a really long spine. Two more breaths here. Wonderful. Release. Hands to the floor, coming over onto your knees. Sitting on your heels, taking your head to the floor, resting in child's pose. Forehead to the floor and arms alongside your body. Let your shoulders be soft. We'll stay here for another 4 breaths. Coming back to your base natural breathing pattern. Observing that natural ebb and flow, expansion and contraction as you inhale and exhale. Let's do one more breath here. Nice. Now reaching your palms forward, nice and long through your arms. Take a nice big cat stretch. Reaching forward, rocking a little from side to side, from one shoulder to the other. Then lifting up onto all fours, coming into cat position, getting ready for thread the needle. Inhale as you sweep the right arm up. Exhale, taking your arm down and through. Lower your shoulder to the floor, turning your head to one side. And inhale the left arm up. Exhale, placing your palm on your sacrum or wrapping your hand around to grip your thigh. Now, depending on how you're feeling, you can go into a nice assertive stretch where you take the top shoulder back, reaching back into your hips. Or if you're feeling like you need to just relax completely, you can soften back into child's pose, dropping your hips, but still keeping thread the needle arms. We'll stay here for a couple more breaths. One last breath here. And release. Bringing both palms to the floor, coming back onto all fours. Take a breath. Inhale, float the left arm up. Nice big reach into your fingertips. Then exhale, taking the shoulder to the floor, threading the arm through. On your next inhale, reaching the right arm up. Exhale, hand to your sacrum or binding it around the front of your left thigh. Peeling the top shoulder back or dropping your hips back to come into a child's pose, thread the needle. One final breath here. Inhale, release the arm. Exhale, both hands to the floor and come up onto all fours. If you have a bolster or a nice big pillow, would also work. You can grab your bolster. We're going to go into a nice supportive butterfly pose. So coming back to our breath, even as we enter into a simple, stable position like this, just trying to move with your breath. So not just folding forward and getting into position, but positioning the bolster on top of your feet. Bring the soles of your feet together in butterfly. And from here, inhale, lengthen. And when you're ready to move into the forward fold, exhale as you fold forward. I'm going to also use a block. So inhale, lengthen, and exhale. And that's just the level of care we can bring to our practice is to really attentively move in to each posture, even if it's very simple. Inhale, and really feeling the impact of the exhalation now at the end of our practice. And when you exhale, feeling everything soften and surrender in this nice restorative position. Anchoring your awareness into your breath. Feel free to make any adjustments. Maybe you can release the length of the block down one or remove the block altogether. Two more breaths in this position. All right. Pressing your palms into the floor and lift up just enough that you can straighten out your legs, keeping your bolster resting on top of your legs. We're going to do the same restorative forward fold again, but in a legs together forward fold. So seated forward fold position, flexing your toes back toward you and pressing into your heels. Folding forward, inhale, exhale, fold and relax. Propping yourself up with blocks, bolsters, blankets, however you like, or no props at all, completely up to you. Finding yourself completely absorbed in your breath and the sensations in your body. The breath as a primary focus and the sensations as a peripheral awareness. One more breath here. And begin to unfurl, slowly releasing. Setting your props to the side. And we'll just lean back into our hands. Give our hips a little wiggle and shake. Releasing through the lower back. And come down and lay on your back. We'll just take one spinal twist and then we'll go into Shavasana. You might like to just draw your knees into your chest to begin and then extend both legs out for a classic supine spinal twist. Always don't want to miss a moment of opportunity to hug my knees toward my chest. I love that feeling. So let's start with the left leg extended, bending through the right knee, taking your right knee across your body toward the floor. Extending the right arm out at shoulder height, placing your left hand to rest on top of your right thigh. Turning to look toward your right fingertips as you gently encourage your knee and your shoulder down toward the floor. And maybe they stay floating in space, but you're getting a nice spinal twist. Or maybe you're able to bring your knee and shoulder to touch the floor. And just remaining guided by your breath. And slowly release back to center. Extend through your right leg, bending your right knee in. Taking your your left knee in and left knee across to the right side of your body, reaching your left arm out at shoulder height. Turning to look toward your left fingertips. Placing your right hand to rest on top of your left leg and being as passive or active as you like in drawing your shoulder and your knee toward the floor. One breath here, and then we'll come back to center. When you're ready, releasing back to center. Taking any last final movements that your body is craving. And then making yourself comfortable in Shavasana, laying on your back. Maybe a bolster under your knees or a pillow under your head, however you feel most comfortable. And then allowing your feet to naturally fall out to the sides, and turning your palms up to switch off the sensation of touch. Your shoulders slide down away from your ears and gently tuck your chin to lengthen through your neck. I'm just going to give you guys a little bit of time and space here before I guide you through relaxation to Notice how your mind and body feel after your practice. And also to just be with your breath, noticing the true natural rhythm of your breath now that you've relieved some tension and perhaps, I hope, relieved a little bit of stress, whether it was conscious or unconscious, cumulative stress that's part of life. Observing the natural state and rhythm of your breath. And you can continue just staying in complete awareness and absorption in your own breath, if you like, and just allow me to be in the background, but not in your main focus. But if you would like to participate in guided relaxation, you can follow along with my cues, just relaxing each body part as I mention it. And starting by taking your awareness all the way down to your feet, relaxing your toes from your big toes to your little toes. Relax the soles of your feet and feel your heels getting heavier and heavier. Soften into your ankles. Soften into your calf muscles. Feel your shin bones to be heavy. Relax your knees. Relax your thighs. Feeling your pelvis to be soft and relaxed. Both your legs are heavy and relaxed. Soften into your belly and soften into your chest. Relaxing your ribs and all the muscles in between each rib. Your lungs are relaxed and your heart is soft and light. Making your way up to your shoulders, feeling your collarbones broadening and releasing. Letting go of any tension around your shoulder joints and down and around your shoulder blades. Relax your upper arms, your elbows, and your forearms. Relax your wrists and hands, feeling your fingers to be gently curled. And gently moving your awareness to your lower back, feeling your sacrum broadening and releasing. Relax your lower back, your middle back, your upper back, and your neck. Feel all the muscles either side of your spine relaxing and releasing. Your head is heavy. Your eyes are soft. Release into your jaw and soften into your mouth. Your entire body is heavy and relaxed. You feel safe and warm. Nothing else to do and nowhere else to be. Just rest. Gradually coming back into awareness of your breath. Noticing the rise and fall of your chest as you inhale and exhale. Coming back into awareness again of that full bodily expansion as you inhale. And feeling your whole body soften as you exhale. And we'll take 5 rounds of very gentle, quiet Goranga breathing, going at your own pace. Starting whenever you're ready. Inhaling and exhaling to say the sound. Goranga. Continuing in your own rhythm. Goranga. 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 And beginning to wake up your body by wriggling your fingers and toes and gently rocking your head from side to side. And rolling over onto your left side, taking your hands underneath your cheek and resting for a moment. And then when you're ready, with as little disruption to your body as possible, pressing yourself up to sit. And we'll bring our palms together, offering our respects to one another to close off our practice. So firstly, bowing our heads, offering our respects to each other. And bowing once more, offering our respects to the Supreme.